Again, the Giants spread it out, this time on first down. Winston has a short man. That's the tight end, Theo Johnson. Gets the first down, carries a couple of tacklers. Jason Marshall Jr., Kyle Lewis, Jacob Rodriguez all in on the stop. But a pitch and catch for a dozen yards.
They brought Ajabo. They brought Max Llewellyn, trying to get to the quarterback.
So the Giants, after a couple of big pass plays, at the Dolphins' 38-yard line for the new head coach, John Harbaugh. Still strange not seeing him on the Ravens sideline. He was there for 18 years. They run it to the outside, and that's a big gainer. Calvin Austin to the Dolphins' 15-yard line. Finally, Michael Taft dragged him down.
Yeah, the gaps, people are losing their gaps. Ajabo had an opportunity. They see a little hole right there. Took a bad line. You know, it's all learning. It's learning on the go. And right now it's been tough.
Well executed by the Giants on the jet sweep. Matt Nagy, the new offensive coordinator for New York, on the sideline today. He was upstairs last week trying to figure out where he'd like to be for the games. Singletary met at the 11-yard line. Matthew Butler made the tackle.
Feels like a continuation of that joint practice, Goldie, where the Giants are, you know, they've got their discipline, they know what they're doing, and our guys are just kind of like trying to feel their way around. At some point, you just got to get a little more aggressive, and you know, throw caution to the wind.
Yeah, Dolphins, about half their defense on the field drafted this year, rookies,
Yep.
5 of them. 2nd and 5 from the 11. Singletary remains in there at running back. Winston fakes, throws, end zone, incomplete. So good pressure there. Kyle Lewis, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, for the Dolphins in coverage on the tight end Manners.
I think that's Llewellyn down.
Yeah, the Dolphin is down in the backfield. We'll check on that in a moment. Or is it Trey Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's Trey Moore who put the pressure on the quarterback. We'll come right back in a moment.
Welcome to Arrowhead South. This Thanksgiving Day game in Dallas between the 6-5 Kansas City Chiefs and the 5-5.
Zvada for the extra point, and that is good. So early on here at Hard Rock Stadium, Winston all smiles. With the diving attempt, gets in the end zone. Giants on top, 7-0 early on.
Good right. Little screen pass. Two guys, 2 blockers in front of him.
Ollie had 7 carries, 39 yards last week against the Commanders. Gordon in his 2nd year out of Oklahoma State, where he had a huge career. So the Dolphins get their first down of the game. Gordon remains in at running back. Now the give to Gordon up the middle. Pushes the pile to gain about 3. DJ Campbell, number 63, now in there for the Dolphins. Another one of the draft picks, 6th round out of Texas. Only Caden Proctor dressed for this game for the starting offensive line for the Dolphins, so they're getting the afternoon off.
Trying to get a little push in the middle of there. Caden Wallace in there. Andrew Meyer in there.
2nd and 6, they gave Gordon 4 on first down. Atwell, the jet sweep as he came in motion, and he's forced out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage. Then a little extra push there. Greg Newsome made the play for the Giants.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been a little room for him to cut back after he gets the ball in that hole.
So after no gain, 3rd and 5. Miller getting an opportunity. Raiders picked him in 2025 in the 6th round. Dolphins plucked him off that practice squad in January. And here he is getting the start today. Has time, goes deep for Coleman. He holds it in double coverage. Kevin Coleman Jr. His first NFL action. Makes a big play there.
Concentration, a lot of hands in front of him. Flags are on the field.
Yeah, it's interference.
Yeah, it's going to be pass interference.
Decline that one. What a catch. Another one-hander was Douglas last week, the rookie in Washington.
That's right.
And now Coleman, the other rookie today. Made a real good catch in the joint practice. Took a big hit, held on to it. The gain was 30 yards. So the Dolphins now, as Coleman checks out for Herman, the fullback, have it at the New York 30.
Nice throw.
Dolphins hope they hit big in the draft. It remains to be seen with those 3 wide receivers.
Yep.
Chris Bell, Kevin Coleman Jr., and Caleb Douglas. Jalen Wright back in at running back, but Miller's going to throw. Has some pressure, and down he goes. Jamison Travis, a rookie, a 6th-round pick on the sack for the Giants.
There's really nowhere for him to go. He'll get rid of that ball a little quicker if he wants to get it out there. He's got a crosser out there, maybe.
So the loss is 4. Coleman back in the game over on the right side. Miller out of the shotgun. Quick throw. Here's Coleman. He's got that quickness right at the line. Slot receiver. Played at Missouri last year and has really shown a lot during training camp. So a couple of grabs for Coleman Jr. It's 3rd and 12. Only a gain of a couple on that play. Again, Devon Achane not playing today, getting the day off, so it's Wright and Gordon at running back to start the game. Dolphins also have Edwards, Washington Jr. Handoff on 3rd down, and that ball is loose. Fumble. There's a giant under the pile, and I believe New York's got it, and they do. Wright fighting for it, but it's New York football.
Yeah, that's not going to help. I mean, you got to hold the football. That's a big no-no at this point in the season.
So the Giants come up with the turnover on a 3rd down fumble. Fumble by Jalen Wright. And let's take a look at it again, Bo, how it developed on this 3rd down
run. It
run.
just came out of his hands. There was certainly a lot of traffic in there, but you got to tuck that ball in. Get it up in that armpit of yours.
So Jameis Winston stays in for quarterback at the Giants, and this 2nd drive led him to a touchdown on the first one. They go on the ground to Tracy, and a gain of 3 yards on 1st down. Matthew Butler made the tackle. Willie Gay Jr. is now in there for the Dolphins as Trey Moore has left the game.
Yep.
Dolphins getting a little deeper into the roster now. Rodney McGrew out of Western Michigan, linebacker, undrafted free agent, checks in as well.
Jackson Woodard's in there, and he's getting the signals from Jeff Hafley, who's I would not call him the defensive coordinator, but
he'll be calling the defense. And the rain coming down a little bit harder now. Perhaps Jacob Rodriguez, the rookie, his day may be over already. Winston to throw through the raindrops. He set up the screen. Tracy is met right at the 40, and there's Woodard. I mean, Jackson Woodard led the Dolphins in tackles last week with 7. And I'll tell you what, talking to this guy, he's the most positive person you will ever find. Loves football and appreciates the opportunity that he's getting here.
comes out of the huddle, looks a little frustrated. Someone missed an assignment probably, and comes to make a sure tackle.
He's all ball,
yep.
And those are the type of attitudes that John Eric Sullivan, Jeff Hafley want. They really like the buy-in on this team, what they're getting in training camp, the physicality and the effort. Hafley has talked about that. Here's Winston, Third down with time, throws incomplete. Zane Anderson was out there in the coverage. Pass intended for former Dolphin Tanner Connor, the tight end, and it's fourth down.
He's been around a long time. We had him for a long time, and shows a lot of promise. Hasn't really gotten to the point. Nice throw.
Yeah, that's when you got to make the catch if you're trying to make the team.
Yep.
Kevin Coleman Jr., a couple of catches already, Bo, in this first quarter in his NFL debut. Will get a chance on the punt return. Jordan Stout will punt for the Giants. Came over with John Harbaugh. He's got few Baltimore guys with him. Stout, a former Raven. Coleman hustles over but won't get a chance. It bounces in front of him. Thought about it. Oh, now has to play it. And he's able to hang on before he's taken down at the 13-yard line. 4:08 left, first quarter, through the raindrops in Miami.
Holding, receiving team number 27. Penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. It's 1st and 10. Timeout on the field.
About what went on there on that return, there was a penalty as well on Ethan Bonner, so the Dolphins backed up inside their own 10.
Dolphins are shuffling around a lot of players in and out, trying to see what everybody can do.
Yeah, Tabor's an interesting guy. You know, we talked to him, and you know, as a special teams coach, he loves what Jeff Hafley is doing with the culture. Said, you know, sometimes, you know, it's hot and it's a tough camp. You know, you got to pull guys in on special teams. You know that, Bo. He says, hey, there's volunteers all the time. There's 10, 15 guys that want to get out there on specials. So backed up are the Dolphins to their own 5-yard line. Jalen Wright fumbled on the last drive, right back in there at running back. Gets the call immediately, and he's brought down. Good pursuit by the Giants from the backside there. Play was made by Adarius Washington.
Yeah, a lot of times you see these guys that are kind of on the fringes. In one big hit in a preseason game gets all the attention. Next thing you know, they're on the roster or the practice squad, giving them an opportunity. And for, you know, it's probably the easiest way to get a job. You know, if it's a veteran team, I would say that's the only way you could get it. But here there's a lot of opportunities everywhere on the field.
And all these games, I mean, every team in the league's watching them. It's tape for everyone. Giants bring some pressure. Miller under pressure, and down he goes. The Giants got in there, and Zach Pickens led the charge. Andrew Meyer has to be helped up for the Giants. McFadden was there as well. He's the one that forced the fumble on the last drive.
It's a little bit what we saw from the joint practices, where the defense from the Giants just don't give the quarterback any time to throw the football and look. And somehow they've got to tighten that up. Look, it even happened when you have the first team guys in there against the Giants.
So back to their own 1. Miller in the gun in the end zone on 3rd and 15. Slings it out there to Tutu Atwell, incomplete. He had it at the 10, but couldn't hold on. Paulson Adebo in coverage. And Bradley Pinion will have to punt from under his own goalpost.
Yeah, sometimes you got to help your quarterback out. I mean, gets the ball out there, should be caught.
That's a good throw by Miller, sure.
Yeah. Hear the footsteps coming.
12-year veteran. Pinion into punt. Austin for the Giants, back near midfield. Pinion won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a heck of a kick. Austin drifts to the sideline. Gets free down the sideline and inside the 40 of the Dolphins. Austin, the former Steeler, with a good return there. Woodard ran him out of bounds. Let's go downstairs to the sideline through the raindrops. Mike Cunha.
Yeah, I'm back out here in the rain with you guys. Yeah, let's get to our practice report brought to you by Baptist Health. You know, we didn't see the first team defense out here today, and that's because of what we saw in that joint practice Thursday. Jeff Hafley, for the second straight joint practice, raving about the way that defensive front played against the run, really limiting Jackson Dart big plays. He also gave a lot of credit to the safeties for the way they were able to cover up receivers downfield. He called the play Thursday from the defense inspired, It was good to see that from that side of the ball out there. He said, you know, of course there are some mistakes, but as long as these guys are making mistakes going 100 miles per hour, he can live with that. Back to you.
Yeah, and interesting, Mike, because, you know, they want, you know, the message to the team as well is, you know, the wins aren't always in the results. They're talking about the process, doing things the right way, setting the standard. That's what Jeff Hafley's all about. So the Giants inside the 40 after the punt return. Odell Beckham Jr. is in the game. The former Dolphin and veteran. Little miscommunication there between Winston and Slayton, incomplete. Today's hyper-fast connection is brought to you by AT&T, and there they are, a handful of former recent Miami Dolphins now on the Giants roster. Odell had 9 catches that year when he was a Dolphin. He's in the game here at Hard Rock Stadium. The original Giant draft pick. 2nd and 10. Beckham all the way to the right side. They run it to Tracy up the middle. Gets a hole across the 30 and down to the 28-yard line. That'll be a first down.
They just ran through a tackle. Got to square up.
Gain of 11 for Tracy. Of course, saw the highlights. He missed that block on a blitz last week against Minnesota, and Jackson Dart got pounded. John Harbaugh wasn't too happy with it. It's going to happen, though, you know that, but they don't want to see that. Dart not playing in the game today. It's Jameis Winston's show to start. Tracy again up the middle. Bounces outside, inside the 20. And that's another first down for the Giants. Michael Taft there for the stop finally.
Got to be frustrating. They bottled him up, and then just the contain broke down. Gave him that lane outside.
So after the gain of 11, Tracy gets 12 on that run. They stack up the line. Tracy still in there at running back. Closing in on a minute to go in the quarter. Winston, play action, flips it out. Has his tight end, Willie Gay Jr. there for the stop after a 6-yard gain.
You don't got to worry about Willie's motor out there. He's going to go out there and play, and he's going to play with passion.
Willie Gay Jr. won a couple of Super Bowls with Kansas City, and every day they come out of that after the stretch inside at the Baptist Health Training Facility, and it's usually Willie hooping and hollering as they take the field for practice. So the Giants now a 2nd and 4 at the Dolphins 10. Tracy fell down, fumble, ball is loose. The Dolphins jump on it. We'll wait for the official call, but Jackson Woodard is out of the pile for Miami.
Looked like it was a bad handoff. The connection.
Yeah, the rain's been coming down for 10-15 minutes now.
Harbaugh, not really. You're not going to let that stuff stand for very long.
Yeah, that's right out of his hands, and a good effort there by Woodard. He was battling Tanner Connor to get to the loose football.
Good effort there.
Well, Woodard's always active. You know, he makes plays. Had a good tackle earlier in the quarter. Comes up with the loose ball there. Dolphins take over on their own 10.
It makes something positive on defense. Hopefully the offense can get the ball down the field and make something happen.
Miller with the fake over the middle. Atwell. And that is incomplete. Deontay Banks there in coverage for the Giants. Looked like Atwell had an opportunity there.
Yeah, it hasn't been a good game for Tutu. He's just got hands on the balls, but just hasn't been able to pull them in. You got to catch that.
Atwell, the Miami native, played quarterback at Miami Northwestern, was the Miami-Dade Player of the Year one year. A little dinged up with the Rams last season, and now with the Dolphins as a free agent. So 19 seconds to go in the quarter. Wright trying to find a hole. and moves that pile ahead. Got about 4 yards with the good effort on the final play of the first quarter. So each defense able to quarterback today. Cam Miller, 3 of 7 for 41 yards. A little misleading. He's had a couple of drops.
Yep.
So 3rd and 6 now for Miller. And the Dolphins at their own 15-yard line. Each team with a fumble in the first quarter. Miller over the middle, incomplete. Deontay Banks broke it up. Kevin Coleman Jr. again. They're giving Kevin Coleman Jr. a lot of reps here. Getting a workout was the intended man.
Hey, Miller's putting the ball on target, quite a bit here. Just not getting much help from his wide receivers.
Yeah, and Banks, a first-round pick in 23 for New York, able to make the play there. Coverage. Mark Gronowski, the only other Dolphins quarterback in uniform for this game, so we'll see how long Miller goes. And Pinion had that one go off the side of his foot. And the Giants going to have good field position here to start this drive. Back downstairs to Mike Cunha on the sideline, the special guest.
Dolphins running back Devon Achane. Last week, I noticed you really didn't get hit much in the backfield in that game against the Commanders. What have you seen from that new retooled offensive line?
Like you said, we didn't get no tackle for loss, and that's good at football. I think I had like 4 or 5 yards every time I touched it, and that just we just building off strong from last year. Like I said, they great together, man. Like I said, even though we got a rookie on the line, he in there like he a vet, and you see them guys work together, that brotherhood that they got, and it's real well for us.
Your head coach has joked about the amount of touches you might get, but what does it mean to you when you have a new head coach that believes in you that much?
It means a lot, man. Like you said, a new head coach, you got a whole new coaching staff. Like you said, they believe in me, and I mean, it's like I said, it's a business, and like you said, said I was gonna get like 40, 50 touches and that, but that's good though, because I'm a running back, like to run the ball, and my whole line good with that as well.
You've got more than 30 career touchdowns, catching, running the ball. You got a new deal to show for it. How has things changed for you, becoming more of a leader, becoming a vet in this locker room?
It kind of, just felt that's just the role that go with it. Like you said, I'm RB1 now. I'm like a vet in the room. Everybody, we got a young team, so it kind of, fell into my lap. Like you said, and I've gotten better. Like you said, I had a lot of great leaders before me, and kind of helped me out.
Devon Achane, thank you so much. Best of luck this season. Appreciate it, guys. Back with you.
Mike, thanks so much. You talk about that great year last year for Achane. Not only led the NFL in average yards per carry, but at his size, some people may be surprised, Bo. He also led the league in average yards after contact on runs last year.
I tell you, he's not a big guy, but boy, he's durable. And I've seen him down on the sidelines come out a little nicked up. Never comes out. Always wants to be in there. Catches the ball, runs with the football. This guy is he's been outstanding since he stepped on the field here for the Miami Dolphins.
One of a trio along with Aaron Brewer and Jordan Brooks that got contract extensions. Dolphins want to reward those types of players and people. Winston on 3rd down in trouble, fires towards the end zone for Beckham. It's broken up and incomplete. Marco Wilson was there in coverage for the Dolphins.
Keith Cooper put a little pressure on.
Yeah, now the officials are getting together here.
Pass interference. Offense number 82. Penalties decline. It's 4th down.
So that's away from where the ball went. That's on Calvin Austin. Dolphins won't take it with the incompletion. And the Giants will try a field goal.
Just like in the joint, the Giants are having their way with this football team on both sides. And we're going to go through that process until the regular season starts and they finalize all these things where, this is going to be a revolving door. Even this week, I think it's the coaching staff's going to get to the point where, look, if they see a guy that they know is not going to make the team, just let's move them on, get somebody else. Hopefully you find a diamond in the rough by doing that. But there's going to be a lot of movement between now and the time the first game starts. A lot of movement on this football team.
Zavada helping his cause, trying to win the kicking battle. The rookie out of Michigan with a 43-yarder. 10-0 game, second quarter.
Yep.
Jordan Brooks all not playing for the Dolphins in this game today. But the D's able to get the stop. Now Jalen Reagor, the wide receiver, gets an opportunity on a kick return. And here he comes to the near side across the 20. Flags come in from the backside as he's run out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
It's going to be a holding of the Dolphins.
Well, that would be the second special teams penalty.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 32. 10-yard penalty. It's first down and 10.
That's safety Lonnie Johnson Jr.,
Yep.
the veteran, called for holding.
It's tough on those blocks because you don't know where the running backs go or the receivers, kick returners going. You're trying to push a guy outside, see if he's going to cut back, but he kind of runs right into the tackle. Not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah, some of those penalties, that's what'll bother, Jeff Hafley.
Yep.
Wants to really, have this team be disciplined. Ollie Gordon with a big burst, but a flag comes in all the way out to the 37-yard line, but this one's going to come back for a holding.
Another hold. Nice run.
Holding, offense number 67. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
So Cam Miller backed up once again. Heck with the hold. And, so much so that, we saw the Ollie Gordon, personal foul last week after he got kicked and he flipped the ball at the guy. Jeff Hafley this week said about the pre and post snap penalties, and he probably sounds like a coach that you played your entire career for. He said they're selfish and they're disrespectful to the team.
Yeah. And look, it's you just can't have it happen. It is discipline. Sometimes it's going to happen just because you get out of position, but it's those cheap little things that, look, in this team this year is not going to be good enough to be able to win games if you're beating yourself through penalties throughout the course of the games. And so, and all he can do is just keep pounding it in, pounding in. And if, guy just keeps doing it, the best thing is sit down. You got to sit down on the bench a little bit and think about it. And, but look, we saw it last week with Ollie, and I thought he handled it really well. Took him right out, went face to face with them, and then went back to and got back again when they looked at the films, at the tapes, and reinforced, hey, we're not going to have this. It's not going to, we're just not going to tolerate it.
Second and long for Miller. Out in the flat, and he's got his man. That's Will Kazmarek, the rookie tight end out of Ohio State, a third-round pick for the Dolphins. Newman made the tackle.
Yeah, Will's been a nice addition. I mean, he's an inline blocker. I mean, he blocks. When he blocks you. He's got the ability to catch the ball. I think they were surprised maybe about how well he catches the ball and the way he runs routes. I think they were thinking he's going to be just one of those blocking guys. But I think that tight end room, when Ben Sims comes back and Dulcich, it's going to be a pretty nice piece of this team.
Yeah, Kazmarek, we talked to him yesterday, said he thinks the Dolphins surprised both Washington and the Giants in the joint practices with the physicality.
Yep.
Maybe they weren't expecting that based on the past. Third down now for Miller. The throw in tight coverage. And the catch is made by Taj Washington.
Nice.
He had a man blanketed all over him. But Debo was in the coverage. I believe it's short. Yeah, it'll be a couple of yards short of the first down, though.
And we want to just concentrate on the football. That guy was all over.
Taj Washington, went through some injuries last year, a former 7th-round pick out of USC. He's going to have to do more of that to make the roster. That was a good catch. Another pretty good throw by Cam Miller.
Yeah, he's done nice back there. I mean, he's had pressure on him, and sometimes he's just stepped up in that pocket, made positive throws. Didn't get a lot of help from some of his receivers, but he's putting the ball on the money.
Gibson from his own 29, fair catch for the Giants. They've got a 10-0 lead.
He just wants to be a sponge. Learn all he can from all of those guys. Each of those linebackers, they can give him a little something extra. But look, he's everything you expected and maybe more this early in his going.
Limited playing time last week. Looks like very limited here today as well. Giants take over their own 29. Winston play action. Has time. Looks. Flings it out to Singletary. Willie Gay Jr. ran him out of bounds after a pickup about 6.
A little zone coverage, looking at the quarterback, was able to come up and get him short of the first down marker. Well, he's just a solid guy when he gets in their plays.
Well, that was the big question last year, right? He had the great preseason, and the team struggled out of the gates, and why he didn't play more was a question.
Well, Dotson and that duo of Dotson and Brooks, I mean, it was, you need dynamite to get those guys out of the game.
Singletary across the 35, gets close to the marker. Dolphins then push him back. Ethan Bonner came up, along with Cam Riley, who was just signed the other day, linebacker. So 3rd and 1 for the Giants. Riley, 2024, played for Florida State. Dolphins brought him in. Also Steven Dix, another linebacker, at some point played for Florida State. He was signed as well. So 3rd and 1. And they give to the up man. And it looks like it's good enough for the first down.
They just got to push in the middle. They're able to get a couple yards.
Yeah, he just got it at the 40. So a new set of downs. Kyle Lewis, linebacker out of Pittsburgh, now in there for the Giants. Dante Trader Jr. in at safety. He'd been banged up in camp, so good to see him on the field here today for the first time. New set of downs for Winston. Send Austin in motion. Winston's going to throw. Pressure. Finds a man, though. Inside Dolphin territory. It's Slayton taken down by Marco Wilson to the Miami 41 and a first down. Pickup of 19 yards.
Easy throw, catch, good route. Soft coverage.
Yeah, Juju Brent's out of the Dolphin lineup, and Johnson and Marshall have left the game, so veteran guy like Slayton gets to work against some of these corners, trying to make the Dolphins roster. And a burst through the line. And a big gain on first down for Singletary at a Deerfield Beach. Playing at home here today.
John Harbaugh comes to this this Giants team with a big resume, great coach, 18 years with Baltimore, and then he gets a number of really good draft picks. At 2 first-round picks. Big guys, you get a big linebacker, you get a big offensive lineman, you get some other guys, and he goes out to training camp. It has a tough training camp, 9 days of just one tougher practice after the other, and that's the type of team that this team can look forward to. The Dolphins next year, because now look, we all know what you got 40 some odd guys on 1-year contracts.
About half the roster.
About half the roster, and when we saw last week, your front line guys are pretty good, on both sides, offensive line, defensive line. You're trying to find those edge rushers. It's when we first started training camp, you go, geez, who's going to be the wide receiver? But now all of a sudden, we got 3 rookies that are playing well. You got Marshall back there, and so or Washington, back there, and you're starting to see something there. But there's going to be holes in this team that they're going to have to fill.
Uh-oh, it's Odell Beckham Jr. He likes that. Crowd buzzing, first down.
So they're going to have to fill those holes. But I know when you get in the regular season, I think you're going to be seeing a completely different product than what we've been seeing during the preseason. And there may be 8, 10, 12, 13 players that aren't here right now on this roster on opening day.
Yeah, that's possible. I mentioned, Riley and Dix, couple linebackers that just got in. So Odell Beckham Jr. trying to make the roster. Shows well there, and the Giants have a first down at the Miami 14. Jameis Winston's having himself a nice first half. They go on the ground here. Singletary has no room at all. Dolphins got some penetration that time. There's Odell. They say, hang on, not going in just yet. Jackson Woodard made the tackle for the Dolphins. Gain of 1. Odell's having a little laugh there. Well, he had that good year a few years ago for John Harbaugh and the Ravens.
Yep.
And came here to Miami a couple of years ago, was, played what? Half the games,
a little
maybe?
bit, yeah.
A few grabs, that was it. Closing it on 5 minutes to go in the first half. 10-0 New York. Singletary bounces outside. 10-5. He finds the end zone. Touchdown, Giants. 13-yard run for the South Florida native, Devin Singletary.
And that's about the third or the fourth time where they, kind of dipped inside, and then in the perimeter kind of crashed in on it and got the bounce out for long yardage. It's tough.
And again, you talk about that depth for the Dolphins. Chop Robinson didn't play in this game, but hey, give the Giants credit. They've been efficient, doing what they need to do. That's Austin Clark, defensive line coach, having a conversation with Jeff Hafley. Came over from Green Bay as defensive coordinator, the new head coach of the Dolphins, Hafley. The extra point. Zvada is good. And the Giants with 5:06 to go in the second quarter. Jalen Reagor, the veteran, had a couple of kickoff returns last week against Washington, averaged 22 yards apiece. Trying to resurrect his career and get a roster spot from inside his own 10. 30-35. And good blocking and return for Reagor before taken down finally by Muasau. Stay with us at the half. The search for this year's CBS Miami Natmore Trophy winner continues. We'll profile 5-star wide receiver Amir Sears of Columbus High School. You can go to natmoretrophy.com and nominate your favorite South Florida high school player. And be sure to stay with CBS News Miami. All coming up at the half. Ollie Gordon, the running back. Cam Miller remains in at quarterback for the Dolphins. Miller has Traore, another one of the Dolphin rookies, but taken down pretty quickly. Got 3 yards on the play. Nick Jones on the tackle. Seydou Traore, 5th-round pick out of Mississippi State. Grew up in London, England. He was born in France. Chris Tabor, special teams coach, and he plays a lot of specials, and said, they have a little fun when he comes in the room. They all say who, and they say do.
They're looking for a fullback. They want to have a fullback in this offense.
Yeah, DJ Herman is in now. Actually played linebacker at San Diego State. Here's Miller, play action, scrambles around, buys some time. He's going to go to the 40 and out of bounds. So no room there and no gain on second down for the quarterback.
Yeah. If it's not open, just make something happen. I always get nervous when those quarterbacks have that one hand on that football and they're running around.
Well, now you get nervous. You used to love it because you could get that big paw right in there and slap it away back in the day.
It was like a big, big brownie that you just want to knock out.
See, now you're getting everybody hungry. Everyone's trying to be healthy here in the booth, and you're getting everybody hungry as we approach halftime. 3rd and 6, Miller going to run again up the middle, across midfield. Cam Miller slides down at the 42-yard line. Pickup of 17 yards on the scramble.
See the hole, good awareness. Pretty good protection by the guys up front.
And you're seeing some things from him, in this game. He's had a couple of drops, but you see him run it. And it's part of the reason last year the Raiders picked him in the 6th round.
Well, look, he's with Ewers out, he's going to be out for a while. I mean, it certainly gives him. He'd like to get as much playing time as he can and solidify a spot for him during the regular season. I think he's pretty close to having it right now.
Banks with a good play, running Gordon down from behind, and oh boy, Ollie Gordon is down. He went down on that, right shoulder arm. Dolphins earlier in the game had linebacker rookie Trey Moore out of Texas leave the game, and now Gordon is down on the field. There's Banks from the backside with the tackle.
You know, it's, you see guys get hurt, that shoulder hurt when that arm right there, see, it gets that arm tucked in and you land right on the point of your shoulder or elbow, just jams it up in that shoulder. That's a tough situation. It's not fun.
Now they're still working on Ollie Gordon, second year out of Oklahoma State with the Dolphins.
Had a big run earlier, called back.
Jeff Hafley, head coach, out on the field now. Hafley in his first year with the Dolphins as head coach, defensive coordinator for Green Bay the last 2 years. They were top 10 across the board. You know, he really turned things around there. Green Bay loves to disguise the blitzes and the simulated pressure. And good to see Gordon walking off on his own.
He likes the guys that are going to be the starters up front, both from the rush edges and from the inside guys, with the linebackers they've got, with all the different things that he wants to do formation-wise, moving people in and out during the course of a play call where they're calling the signals and, you know, just bringing a guy down, bringing some guy up. And you have some guys that have the opportunity, the ability to do multiple things. You know, you can cover, you can rush, and that's going to give him a lot of leeway to do exactly what he wants to do.
So Jalen Wright comes back in at running back. 2nd and 9. Here's Wright, right side across the 40, and sneaks through to the 36-yard line. He picked up 5. Ollie Gordon, as we approach halftime here in the 2-minute warning, makes his way to that Dolphins locker room.
Cole Turner had a pretty nice block in that, give him some room to run.
And one of the tight ends trying to grab a roster spot is Turner. They'll huddle up here, but they won't get the play off. So the Dolphins trying to get on the board late in the first half. When we come back after the 2-minute warning, it'll be 3rd and 4 for Miami in August. Usually have the night games here in Miami. This is a rare 4 o'clock start Eastern time, so a lot of kids here at the game today. Dolphins have a 3rd and 4. Cam Miller has gone all the way in the first half in at quarterback. They go 3 wide. On the ground to Wright, and he is met immediately. Caleb Murphy, the linebacker, got the penetration. A gain of maybe a yard, that's it. And the Dolphins will kick it on 4th and 3. Riley Patterson, who was 27 of 29 last year on field goals, comes in. This will be a lengthy one, 53-yarder.
You wonder why it's, you know, it's a preseason game. Why don't you just go for it? But you got to find out who your kicker is going to be. There's a competition there, and got to give them that opportunity.
Pinion the holder. And Patterson, as mentioned, great last year, on the money there with plenty of distance from 53 yards out. And he gets Jeff Hafley's Dolphins on the scoreboard here in the first half.
There you go. You want to walk off the field with a goose egg up there.
So a couple of good Cam Miller runs at quarterback on that drive for Miami. Little lean there from the head coach.
Didn't need much of a lead.
The body English. Well, it's the angle bow. Hafley couldn't tell.
That's right.
He doesn't have a monitor. He doesn't have a TV down there.
It was a quarter lead.
I mean, the nerves are always there. Jeff Hafley, before being defensive coordinator at Green Bay the last 2 years, was head coach at Boston College for 4 years. Yeah. Veteran in the NFL. His first big job at Pittsburgh in college, Dave Wannstedt hired him. And you know, Wannstedt is somewhat of a mentor and someone that Jeff Hafley relies on. So we've seen Wannstedt, former Dolphins head coach, around training camp a bit in the OTAs and here in the summer.
Talked to Dave about him a couple weeks ago, and he said, yeah, he was just this guy hanging around, doing whatever. And he said, what do you want to do? I want to be a football coach. He goes, okay, give me some coffee. So he started as the coffee guy, and then he got to just kind of walked his way up the ladder, which a lot of these guys have gotten here, like kind of like Eric Spoelstra. Right?
Miami Heat head coach. Yeah, he was the video coach back in the day. Relentless worker, put in all the hours. So here's a look at new Dolphins head coach Jeff Hafley, where he's been over the years. And his defensive coordinator, even though, as you mentioned, Bo, Hafley's going to call the defense. But Sean Duggan, in many of those stops, has been with him for 9 years.
He is, and so he's up in the booth. Hafley's down in the field calling him. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, you talk about a straight shooter, whether it's you hear from the players or we get to talk to him or with the media. He tells it like it is. Jeff Hafley trying to establish a new culture in Miami.
You know, he was asked early on, well, what's it going to be like, being on the sideline calling plays? Because I did it 4 years in Boston College. I've got some experience, maybe not at the NFL level, but I've been down there before, so I don't think it's going to be, and certainly it's not going to be an issue for him. But I like that combination, and he wants to be down on the field and call the plays, just to see and get that feel of what's going on down the field, and I like that.
And as mentioned today, Matt Nagy, veteran coach, was a head coach in the league, is the new Giants offensive coordinator. Last week against Minnesota, he was upstairs. He's given it a try downstairs this week to see where he likes it.
Yep.
So it's all matter of personal preference, right? For whoever's calling it, offense and defense, where they like to be.
Yep. Yes, it is. I mean, usually the defense coordinator, usually it's their whatever they want, wherever they want to be, wherever they're most comfortable. Look, John Harbaugh, he's got a new defensive coordinator. Yep. He's got a new offensive coordinator, both. It's you get into a new team, you get the guys that you like, the guys that you know, the guys you're comfortable with, and I think with the coaching staff for Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan, I think they're very comfortable with these coaches they've got. They've been doing a really good job. They're fundamental guys. They teach technique, all the types of things that are going to make a team better, even if you don't have the personnel that you need to be where you want to be at the end of the season.
Former Dolphin Tanner Connor with the catch, run out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Giants trying to get something before the half ends. Bobby Slowick was a holdover, so he is the offensive coordinator. And interesting with the Giants, you mentioned Harbaugh, just how much experience. You start adding up the years that the Giants have on the offensive staff with, of course, a guy they hope is a superstar in Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of experience, the Giants do, offensively on their coaching staff.
I think the Giants are going to be, they're going to be a surprise this year. I think, Harbaugh's not going to settle for a lot of, mediocre play.
Nearly intercepted there by A.J. Green, the third.
Maybe a
little flag coming in as well. So there was contact there in the secondary.
Pass interference. Defense number 24. Stop foul. Automatic first down.
And it is on Green, so
kind of grabbed him on the break.
And it was on Odell Beckham Jr. made that inside move. There's the grab. So the Giants now have it at the 38-yard line. They got a couple of timeouts left. 34 seconds to go in the first half. Good pursuit there by McGrew, undrafted free agent out of Western Michigan for the Dolphins. And Keith Cooper in there as well.
Just collapsed down on the backside, was able to get him behind the line of scrimmage, and nice shot. Or at the line of scrimmage. You need two guys on every tackle. That'd be nice.
Brew and Cooper combined there. So the Giants use timeout. They've got one left. Second down at the 37. Jameis Winston has had an efficient first half, 12 of 16.
I think Jameis might want to go to the end zone for this one.
He was 0-2 last year when he started, but he played some good ball for the Giants in those games. It wasn't the offense's fault, that's for sure. 32 years old. Winston. And incomplete. Slayton cut it inside, and the ball went outside. Green again in the coverage. So Green, and it was actually Odell Beckham Jr. again, intended man. Oh no, it was Slayton. Okay. Little physicality there.
So Jameis Wilson, a pretty talented guy. Football player, quarterback, Florida State, doing the World Cup stuff. He was the
broadcasting, yes,
the ambassador of the World Cup. It seemed like
he's good on
all
TV,
over the place.
He's like yourself. He's a worldly guy. Played in the NFL and then all the other ancillary things. And the play clock ran down there on Winston. I think he's upset. He didn't think it was set correctly. But he won't win that argument. And John Harbaugh, don't tell Harbaugh it's a preseason game. Standing there shaking his head. Harbaugh won that one Super Bowl in Baltimore, averaged 10 wins a year, but last year, you know, didn't really go their way. They missed the kick on the final play of the season, and that was the end of the era.
I think he walked into that building and said, hey, we're going to play tough, and we're going to be hard, and we're going to coach you hard, and we're going to start winning football games. We're going to change the atmosphere and the culture in this team right here and right now. And so he's going to be tough on him all the way.
Completion, and then the yards after the catch by Austin. He makes a big play. They want to get up to that line. Well, instead of spiking it, they will call their final timeout. So a gain of 20 yards.
Final timeout by the Giants.
Winston to Austin.
30-second timeout.
Now they're in field goal range at the 22. Austin's gotten a workout today.
Yeah.
Of course, Malik Neighbors is the superstar for the Giants. You know, that tough injury last year. They like what Malachi Fields, a third-round pick out of Notre Dame, has done. In fact, Fields was picked 74th. Then the Dolphins took Caleb Douglas one pick later at 75. Chris Bell went later in the third round, again to Miami.
Yeah, I think they're pretty happy with their the top four guys that they drafted. Well, I think they're all going to be a big part of their offense, defense.
Zvada waiting to see if he gets a chance for another kick. Winston to throw. Short pass in the flat, complete. Tracy is run out of bounds by Cam Riley. That gets it a little bit closer. They got time for one more at least. So to the 14-yard line now, the Giants. Odell Beckham Jr. to the bottom of the screen there. Split out. Winston looking that way, throwing that way. Beckham off his hands and incomplete.
Wow, got to catch that.
OBJ, maybe he should have gone up with just one hand. I mean,
that's his thing. One hand.
Yeah, don't do it with two. He's better with one.
Wow.
That's a good throw by Winston. Miles battling coverage there for the Dolphins. So they'll try again. 9 seconds left now. It's third down.
First charge timeout for the Dolphins.
All right, the Dolphins want to get a timeout here.
So Odell during pregame warmups, he comes out and they're running little routes and the quarterback's just throwing. So he one-hands one, and the Giant fans went crazy.
Hey, he made that catch in that nationally televised game against Dallas all those years ago.
Yeah. He's lived off that one catch for a long time. Not to say he hasn't been a good player in the league, but that thing put him at the top of the heap for a long, long time.
Well, he's back with the Giants, back with Harbaugh. They were together in Baltimore. So 9 seconds left in the half. This is third down. Battle again on that near side, matched up with Beckham Jr. See if Winston goes there again. He's looking there. He does. And this time Odell's got it out of bounds to the 10. Just gets it a little bit closer. Battle was, playing way off there.
Yeah.
Just trying to prevent, the touchdown. So they took the short pass. Now Zabata's gotten an opportunity here at kicker in the first half of the Giants. Gets another chance. In what should be a chip shot, 27 yards. Made his kick earlier in the game. And flags come in. That'll be on the Giants. The operation not running well there for New York.
Yeah. Who's going to hear about that?
It's fourth down.
Yeah, those pre-snap
How do you do
penalties.
that? I mean, field goal. How do you do that?
Quickly, what can you share with us? It's a family program. What would Don Shula say when someone did that back in the day?
I can't say.
You can't say anything.
You can't.
Not even the G-rated version. No, you can't. You can't clean it up, Bo. You can't clean it up.
I can't throw that jargon out.
All right, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. Back to a 32-yarder now for the rookie. And he got it again. That is good to end the first half here at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. So the Giants take a 20-3 lead into halftime. Stay with CBS Miami as we send it back to our news studios for the latest news and weather. Our own Jalen Gilkey will profile a nominee for this year's Nat Moore Trophy, and then Mike, Kim, and I will be back with the FPL halftime report and the second half following this news update. And so get it first here in the second half, and Brandon Allen is now in at quarterback for New York. Like Winston, another veteran. He's 33 years old. He's played 19 NFL games and was with the Titans last year. Allen in his 10th year. Eric Gray is in at running back, so presumably Tracy and Singletary, who carried the load in the first half, will be done. Cam Scatterbo did not play today. He played in the opener. And Willie Gay Jr. with a good tackle on Gray there. Loss of 2 on the play will bring up second down and 12.
Max Llewellyn trying to get some pressure on the quarterback. Did a little bit. This team really sorely needs pass rushers, edge guys. We talked about that earlier in the program, and they just don't have the personnel that you need, and so they're going to have to try to find some guys. Llewellyn, he's been probably played as well as anybody else other than Chop Robinson in the game last week, and so he's trying to buy a spot here and doing everything he can. But you see on the other side hardly anything coming across. So that's a good, to me, is one of the biggest point of emphasis on this football team going into the regular season. You got to find some way to get pressure on the quarterback. In this game, in this NFL, you can't get pressure on the quarterback. It is going to be a long, long season.
Gray with the catch again there. Riley on the tackle. So they get some yards back, and now it's 3rd and 3 for the Giants. Brandon Allen operating out of the shotgun. They spread it out. Now Gray jogs back into the backfield. Llewellyn's in there on the edge, the 7th round pick on the near side out of Iowa. Trying to get there. Allen on the move, buys himself some time, throws, and Gray makes the catch. So 3 straight passes from Allen to the running back. And the Giants get a new set of downs. Dante Trader Jr. in coverage, 2nd year for Miami.
Good hustle by Alex Huntley trying to get to him before he gets to the sideline, coming from that inside tackle position.
Major Burns now in there at safety for the Dolphins. You know, people ask, hey, Major Burns, how'd he get his name? His mom was at a game at the University of Texas. Major Applewhite was the quarterback. She heard the PA announcer say it, and she said, that'd be a cool name, and there he is, Major Burns. Roddy McGrew on the tackle for the Dolphins on Gray. Gain of 2 for the Giants. Dolphins have one preseason game to go. That'll be Friday night here at Hard Rock Stadium against the Atlanta Falcons. The only question everybody wants to know, will Tua Tagovailoa, the former Dolphin, play in that game? You think
may have no choice.
You think the Dolphin starters will play a bit? Look forward to that. There's the pressure, and Allen goes down. Coleman Lyles got there. Cam Rice recently signed, was around as well. So Coleman Lyles was a guy that was let go in camp and then brought back.
Yeah.
Good effort.
Both sides.
Now, does Rice get a half a sack on that or no? Is that?
I think he may.
If you get a little piece?
Yeah.
All right.
So.
You know, anytime there's a guy 58 for the Miami Dolphins, you got to give him a little stack.
Got to give him a little love, you know that.
So now 3rd and 17. Completed pass. Good looking play by the Giants. Get some yards back into Dolphins territory. A.J. Green III made the tackle on Gibson, and New York will punt.
You know, talking about 58, when I retired, the equipment manager was a friend of mine. In that year, he didn't give away my number.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah.
So the next year he gave away my number, and, and my wife says to me, says, "Geez, I thought they were going to, retire your number."
Right.
And I go, "Well, if this guy has 10 good years, maybe they will retire."
It's still got a chance. That is fair, caught by Atwell. Back at the 10. Giants up by 17 here in the 3rd quarter. Iowa, he played at San Diego State. Now, we mentioned Cam Miller won those 2 FCS titles.
Offense, number 67.
The 2 years that he lost to Mark Gronowski. It was South Dakota State against North Dakota State for 4 consecutive years. These guys lit it up.
Yeah, Jeff Hafley's not going to be happy for that. Pre-snap penalties, killers.
And by the way, the conversation we've had about the roster, the Dolphins have made a roster move during the game. They waived Nick McLeod before the game. They picked up Jayante McMillan, a cornerback from the Colts. So the transactions continue. Gronowski gets free, avoids the safety, and throws it out of bounds. He was under pressure there and got rid of it.
There's that right side just creeped in there.
Gronowski in 2023 won the Walter Payton Award for the best FCS offensive player. Fotu and Alexander there on the interior. You saw the Giants' defensive line. So 2nd and 15 now for the Dolphins. On the ground, a Washington Jr.'s got some room on the outside and gets to the 17-yard line. Nick Jones made the tackle, but this is coming back. It's holding on Miami.
Got a number of holding penalties.
Holding. Offense, number 1. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, that's on wide receiver Jalen Tolbert.
Not the way you want to start the 2nd half.
Correction. Penalty would be enforced half the distance.
There you go. Preseason as well for the officials.
Yep.
Only a 3-yard penalty, but it was a big gain. Here's Tolbert in the middle. It was on Nick Jones who eventually made the tackle.
You know, when you get an opportunity to get a hold on those shoulder pads, it's hard to let it go.
Washington Jr. was tied up in the backfield by Trace Ford for the Giants, and then Zaire Barnes finished it off. So it'll be 3rd and long for Gronowski. Tough spot for him to come in here. You know, he's got good size at 6'2", 226. Led Iowa to 9 victories last year. Carlos Washington Jr. now in it, running back for the Dolphins. Couple of seasons with the Falcons. Ollie Gordon left the game, unfortunately, for the Dolphins with injury earlier. So did linebacker, the rookie Trey Moore. Look out, Washington Jr. wrapped up at the goal line. That's Barnes again. And it'll be inside the 1 where the Dolphins will punt.
The ruling on the field is the runner's forward progress was stopped from the field of play. 4th down.
So not a safety by about 6 or 8 inches.
Yeah, you got some of your third string offensive linemen in there. And that drive, they had multiple problems.
Well, a punter cannot be any further back in the end zone than Bradley Pinion is right now. Gibson in midfield to receive for the Giants. And Gibson has a chance from the 50. Outside to the 40, 30, flags all over the place. He gets to the 20, and then Pinion's the one, the punter, that tripped him up. This will come back.
Boy, the Dolphins have had trouble on defense, on special teams, getting up the field and making things come inside. They've always got, seems like every time they got a soft corner where they can pick up 5, 10, 15 yards and run like that. Sometimes someone's got to bring things inside and turn it into a funnel.
During the return, holding, number 41 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
That's the linebacker McFadden for the Giants. They start this drive 1st down at the Miami 47. Gray remains the running back. Gets the call and nothing doing. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Coleman Lyles was in there, along with a couple of others for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Ethan Robinson came in and stacked him up.
So a gain of only 1. It's 2nd down and 9. Giants deeper into the roster here in the 2nd half on offense. You saw guys like Slayton and Singletary and Tracy in the 1st half. Dolphins got some pressure from Cam Rice. Pass complete though to Gray, able to pick up the 1st down. Allen getting up. Willie Gay Jr. getting helped up as well. Dolphins got some pressure in there. Good job by Allen getting rid of it. Gain of 10 on the play.
Cam Riley, 2 successive good plays.
So new set of downs for the veteran Allen at the Miami 36. Gray's going to get a workout here in the 2nd half. Allen looking over the middle short. It's Gray again. Willie Gay Jr. on the tackle. Pick up a 5 on 1st down. So the Dolphins play the Falcons to wrap up the preseason on Friday night. And then they will start on the road out in California in the regular season against Las Vegas and San Francisco back-to-back.
A lot of rotation on this defensive front. Alex Hundley running in.
Handoff to Gray, picks his way inside the 30 and gets 1st down yardage to the 25. Boogie Huntley made the tackle finally for the Dolphins. The Giants effective here. Allen and Gray, the quarterback running back combination. Achabo comes in for the Dolphins along with Llewellyn on the edge now. 1st down. Play action to Gray. Allen rolling, throwing, and that's complete to the 15-yard line. The tight end Fedoni for the Giants.
But tough for a right-hander to throw the ball going that way. He squared up enough to be able to get the ball out. Didn't have a whole lot on it. He was able to get it out there.
And Major Burns trying to get there with the pressure. Effective drive here by the Giants. Fidone in his second year was a 7th-round draft pick last year. Giants, of course, have Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson at that tight end position. Here's Gray up the middle. And that'll give him first down yardage. There's Steven Dix, the linebacker that was just picked up in the last 24 hours. It's the Giants' 5th trip in the game into the red zone. They'll give to Gray. Outside he goes. And inside the 10. It was Green that got in the backfield and just got a piece of him.
Yeah, thought he was going to bring him down by his ankle, just couldn't quite pull it down. A.J. Green the third.
Gray now 5 carries, 17 yards in the game. And he's caught 5 passes for 32, so plenty of touches for the running back. They're inside the 10. Allen barely gets it off and throws it away. That'll bring up 3rd and 6. That was Brandon Allen's first incompletion. He had been 7 of 7, 51 yards.
We're going to Jabo to see if he can get a little pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, Jabo on the edge. Coleman Lyles as well for the Dolphins. Here's Allen in the shotgun on 3rd down, the empty backfield. Throws end zone, incomplete. Too high for Fidone. There were 2 Giants in the area. Now we'll see what the call is. Yeah, they'll kick it here. So mention they've got 2 kickers in camp. Zvada was very good in the first half, the undrafted free agent. Yeah, see, Fidone and Hodgins were right near each other. So now it's Ben Sauls, the other kicker. Looks like he'll get the action in the second half. This one from 27. Sauls is perfect. And the Giants open it up at 23-10. Atwell's got a chance. Tripped up at the 30. Raheem Lane made the tackle on special teams for the Giants. So Mark Gronowski comes back out for the Dolphins. Second half belongs to him. Was in a real tough spot, backed way up near his own goal line on that first drive.
See if the guys up front can give him a little protection, a little time to throw the football. Maybe get a little run game going.
Here's Gronowski to throw. Short pass over the head of Herman, the fullback. That's incomplete. Fins fans, nobody tracks South Florida weather like the CBS News Miami Next Weather team. Always tracking, always alerting. Next Weather only on CBS News Miami. Had a little bit of rain before the game and early in the game here today, but otherwise without the sun, comparatively speaking anyway, it's been a pretty comfortable day in South Florida.
Yeah, the Giants should feel lucky that they didn't have that burning sun coming down with you all day long.
Well, that joint practice, that was one of the hottest that I've been in a number of years. Gronowski finds A.J. Henning for a short gain. It's 3rd down. They picked up 6 yards. Art Green made the tackle in the Giants secondary. Jeff Hafley grew up in New Jersey, was a big Giants fan growing up. Enjoyed watching the games, you know, the memories with his dad and his brother, as many fans do as well. Here's Gronowski on 3rd down. Snap goes by him, and he goes down. And the Dolphins will have to punt. So there's a look at Hafley. You know, we talked to him yesterday. I said, hey, you know, is there a game that you remember? I'll show you that when we come back. We're going to talk about that game. Dolphins have to punt here. Pinion again. He's been busy today. Xavier Gipson back for the Giants. So 2.5 to go in this 3rd quarter. Giants have had the better of things throughout this game. Gipson glides back to his own 25. Looking to go wide and cut it back, and nothing doing. Jackson Woodard there for the Dolphins. Late 80s opening day. I knew the play. And by the way, Phil Simms, who threw the touchdown pass to give him the lead, he is in the building here today on the Giants
nice
broadcast. But hey, Jeff Hafley said, football junkie right from the get-go. And all those days with his dad and his brother watching games and throwing the ball around, that's the memories.
Father was a coach, you know, just a football lifer, same like John Eric Sullivan. Both of them cut from that same cloth. And boy, those Giant fans have a long, you know, you barely turn on your face. You barely turn on the Giants. I mean, you like the Giants, you love the Giants, and you just live with them. I like to see the franchises. Look, the Dolphins have the same thing. They have a lot of great fans that have stuck with this football team through the last 20 some odd years with no playoffs. But they, you know, every stadium we go to, very well represented, much like a Giants football team. That those franchises have been around forever, and good for them, good for their fans, and I think this good things are coming for the Giants with just John Harbaugh over there.
Yeah, you know, and Harbaugh's the veteran, but they've got the same mentality. You know, that defense first, the discipline, the effort, the physicality. Giants shaking up on the play here on the offensive line, back on his feet. And, you know, and we kind of saw that in the joint practice. You know, they don't want any punches being. It actually bothers Jeff Hafley a lot when there's punches and that stuff in the joint practices. As we look at Harbaugh, who had the 1 Super Bowl win, averaged 10 wins a year with the Ravens. But, you know, maybe we really shouldn't be surprised that that joint practice got a little nasty, got a little fiery. These two teams trying to prove something.
They're both trying to change the culture of a franchise. Both of them want physical football, but they want to be technically sound, and they want to be disciplined. But and then look, you have that heat of that day.
Boy, was it hot!
And one little, you know, it's like a powder keg. One guy pushes a guy after a play, and all of a sudden, it's all it takes to turn things on. And once someone throws a punch, it just becomes a free-for-all.
Yeah, and it was Abdul Carter, by the way, one of the you know, impact Giants on defense that, you know, threw the punch, and then later on a little more happened. There's video of that out there. By the way, I guess fitting with our conversation now, Bill Parcells, 85 years old today.
Wow.
Of course, great Giants coach, and then was with the Dolphins in the front office. Sure, he's hanging out at Saratoga this weekend. That's a good guess. This is going to be pass interference.
You know, the last break, you know, we went off the air, and Jeff Hafley was, you could see, it was, you know, it was a play that was a bungled play, but doesn't get upset, just gets his notepad down. Let's talk about this, and he's not, you know, he's not going to scream and yell at people. I think he knows where they're at, knows where this team's at, and he's going to be patient and build this thing, and it's gonna move. Look, I'm not going to say it's going to move quickly, but I think you're going to see between, you know, the first game of the season, and when you get to mid-season, I think you're going to see a
illegal contact, number 35. That foul will be declined. Pass interference, number 35. That's a spot foul. First down.
Isn't the pass interference the illegal contact? Isn't it all kind of one big?
The same,
Anyway, it's good.
One in the same.
There's battle.
But I think once you get to the middle of the season, I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a much different product.
Yeah, Hafley trying to, you know, build the foundation of what you know, they want this team to be, along with John Eric Sullivan, the general manager who started out as a scouting intern in Green Bay, spent 23 years there, VP of player personnel the last 4 years. His dad, Jerry, was Dolphins wide receiver coach in the early 2000s. That's a good catch and a big hit by Lewis Moore. Hodgins able to hold on to it. Moore with the hit at safety. By the way, last time Lewis Moore played at Hard Rock Stadium, national championship game for Indiana. They beat the University of Miami. He had 7 tackles back in January. Undrafted free agent trying to find his way onto the roster. So first down for the Giants, the 45. Bankston gets the call up the middle. Mulba led the charge for the Dolphins on the interior of the defensive line. Mulba, Keith Cooper getting some extended playing time here for the Dolphins. You know, Zach Sealer's been out with injury. Yep. Kenneth Grant, last year's #1 pick out of Michigan, been out with injury as well. And we haven't seen Zeke Biggers in either of the preseason games. He's down on the sideline, shorts and a jersey. See how the Dolphins play it in that preseason finale next week. And the Giants are going to call a timeout. The play clock was winding down.
30 seconds.
You know, this team is going to struggle throughout the course of this year. And look, you don't want to look too far ahead, but I'm going to look a little bit farther ahead.
Yeah.
By the end of this season, there's going to be a lot of these guys that aren't going to be back again. But the guys that are going to be here and stay here, they're going to be indoctrinated. They're going to play the way that Jeff Hafley wants to. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to play tough football. And then you've got a bundle of cash where you can go out and start getting some free agents. Look, you're probably going to get a pretty high draft choice. You know, and the one thing you say with him, you'd like to see Malik Willis be your quarterback and know you got a quarterback, so you don't need to use draft capital next year. You can find that on getting some weapons for him going into the future. So, you know, it's going to be a tough season, but I think there's some positivity once you get done with this one and get everything turned around.
Well, they got conviction with Malik Willis. You know, Jeff Hafley was running the defense in Green Bay the last 2 years, and Malik was the backup quarterback to Jordan Love, so he'd go against them, the scout team, and he got to know him very well, and it's one of the first things they did. They said, hey, let's get Malik Willis here as a free agent to be the starter. So third quarter comes to an end. It'll be third down for the Giants in midfield when we come back for the fourth in Miami.
Dolphins preseason football on CBS Miami is sponsored locally by Rick Case. Rick Case gives you more.
They've been effective, 25 of 34 for 220 in the air today. So first play of the fourth quarter. Allen has an open man inside the 50. Battle made the tackle on Cambry.
Nice route, a little slant. Delivered the ball right where it needed to be.
Dante Trader Jr. has presumably one of those safety starting spots locked up, and then it's, you know, all up for grabs. You know, Zane Anderson's right in there, the rookie Michael Tapp out of Texas, and we'll see how many safeties they end up keeping. There's roster spots to be had. That's for sure on this Dolphins team. Bankston trying to turn the corner, nothing doing. Cam Riley, recently signed at linebacker, up to make the tackle.
That job will help make that play. He just forced his guy, drove him in the backfield, made the running back go around, and let the tackle guy come up and make the play.
Riley played that 24 season up in Tallahassee for Florida State. So 2nd and 15 now for Allen, a quarterback. Over the middle, that's complete to the tight end who goes inside the 40 and down to the 35-yard line. Manhertz, or Fedoni rather. Second catch of the game for him.
they're having a tough time. You know, they get to the ball, they hit the ball carrier, and let them go 3, 4 extra, 3, 4, 5 extra yards. Someone's got to step up and be the roadblock.
Third and 1 now. On the ground, that's good for the first down. Let's go down to the sideline to Mike Cunha.
Here now with Dolphins linebacker Jordan Brooks. Jordan, you know, talking to head coach Jeff Hafley after these last couple joint practices, he's been really impressed with the defense. What have you seen after facing the Commanders and then watching your guys go up against the Giants?
I think it's been positive, man. I thought the last practice that we had, joint practice, guys was flying around being super physical. And that's been the main thing that Hafley's been preaching is the physicality, the mindset that he wants his defense to play with. And I think the last couple practices, it's been that.
How much has having defensive-minded head coach helped you?
I love it because he sees everything from a defensive perspective. Even when he's coaching the offense, it's always that tough mentality, go through a person type of mentality. And so I think that's good for offense too. I think in this league, a lot of offenses try to get finesse and want to go around and, you know, try to get cute. I think his mentality is going to be good for us offensively and obviously defensively.
That linebacker room seems like a pretty close-knit unit. What can you say about how you guys have come together here during training camp in the preseason?
It's been great, man. One thing that's mandatory for me is that we always break bread with each other, and that we become as close as we can. I think that that's the most important thing about the brotherhood, about the fellowship, is that you get to know the person. And so our room, we do everything together, on and off the field. And so I just love the way that we've competed this camp, pushed each other, hold each other accountable. I think it's only going to make us better and make our team better.
Jordan, thank you so much. Best of luck this season. Appreciate it. Good talking to you. Guys, back over to you.
Mike, thanks. Jordan Brooks, team leader on the defensive side of things for sure, and really overall. And that's one thing you've heard a lot of from the Dolphin players during this training camp. You know, we talked to Will Kazmarek yesterday. He talked about how close the rookies are. And to what Mike, you know, was talking about with head coach Jeff Hafley, you know, Kazmarek said, now that I've gotten here, and he's a big guy, a blocking tight end, he said, I see what they did in the draft. There's a bunch of guys that have that mentality.
But you got guys like, you know, Willie Gay, Brooks, Dotson, those three guys, they're the glue with that linebacker group. And you know what? It's, you know, they're together as linebackers, but they extend to the secondary, that whole defense. I mean, probably by the middle of this year, you're going to have this whole defense going out to dinners at the same time. But, you know, that closeness that he talks about, you know, it perpetuates itself on the football field sometime. When you're around guys who are that close to them and you work together, it's so much. There's times in the football field where you can just look at a guy in his eyes and you know what he knows what you want to do, and you know what he knows what you want to do and what he needs to do, and you just don't have to. It doesn't have to be verbally thrown out there. It's just something that's inbred in it. And so it's, but it takes work, and I think Jordan Brooks has done a good job of getting that closeness together and trying to get that thing going.
Second down. Giants inside the Dolphins 20. And that's batted down, incomplete. As we chat about Will Kazmarek, let's get back downstairs to the sidelines, Mike.
Yeah, Goldie, Will Kazmarek, the subject of our Infinity Player profiles. Watching after he made that catch earlier in the game, Greg Dulcich come over and talked to him. We talked about how some of these units are really close with each other on this team. And, you know, we talked to Will yesterday, and we were like, hey, Brian Hartline, you know, former Dolphin, he was a coach on that Ohio State staff when you were there. He goes, yeah, they texted after he got drafted, asked about that number 82 because it's Hartline's number. Any connection there? He goes, nope, but that's a good story, so let's go with that. We went with that because of Hartline.
And Cunha, you know me, you know, he asked me, hey, what was your favorite moment at Ohio State? You know, he's a great player there. And he said the Michigan game last year. So what did I do? I went back and looked up the highlights. He had a couple of catches, and they pounded Michigan in the big house. I mean, Will Kazmarek is a guy that's got that mentality. He's almost like he's an extra offensive lineman out there.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a big, strong, tough guy, and I think we've seen a bonus from him that he's his ability to run routes and catch the football, because you know, when they drafted him, it was all about blocking and this and that. But through this training camp, he's shown a little bit more.
Ben Saul's in for the 37-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Well, the Giants' kicking battle continues. Both kickers have been perfect today. 9:23 to go at Hard Rock Stadium. .923 to go in the game. The Giants lead the Dolphins now 26-3. Ben Sauls with a field goal, capping a 16-play drive for the Giants. Used up nearly 8 minutes of time. Sauls now to kick off. Dolphins have A.J. Henning deep. One of those depth wide receivers. Henning's had some flashes during training camp. Donovan Edwards, the running back, is back there along with him. Return chance here for Henning. On the run to the 25, where he is upended. Immediately, good tackle by Raheem Lane. So field position, you know, for the most part, Dolphins have been backed up in this game. Some of it, you know, self-inflicted with penalties and pushed them back on special teams. But here, Gronowski, who has played the second half, starts from his own 24. Theo East Jr. now in the game for the Dolphins. Terrace Marshall Jr. as well. And Josh Preeb is now getting snaps at center. Gronowski keeps it himself. He's got good legs. You know, he was very efficient running the football last year, playing for Iowa in college. Bo Braid on the tackle there. Gain of 9.
Yeah, that's a planned run for the quarterback. Jeremiah Franklin out in front of him, giving him a block.
Franklin, one of those in-camp pickups. Tight end, actually played for Jeff Hafley at Boston College. Chris Tabor, the special teams coach there next to Hafley. Those special teams coach, they're always fun guys to talk to. They always got some juice.
Yeah.
And, you know, Tabor, you know, talking to him, he said, hey, you know, we watch the tape. The one thing that he likes, nobody ever stops.
Yeah.
You know, the effort. And maybe part of that is a product, well, as you said, you know, half the team on one-year deals. You know, 24, 25 rookies, a lot of motivated players trying to make a name for themselves in their careers.
Yeah, then look, sometimes, you know, during the preseason, they may only do special teams. And so, you know, there's always, every now and then you see the guy that comes and he just makes the plays on special teams. Big hits, you know, making big plays, and say, hey, we don't have a place for him to play in the during the game other than special teams. And a lot of times those guys turn out to be special team captains and this and that, and they have pretty good careers throughout the course of it.
Gronowski was pressured by Caleb Murphy, so he rolled out and had to throw it away. And the Dolphins unable to pick up the first, and they'll punt it away. And it'll be Pinion again on the punt.
He's getting some work today.
100%, and so is Tabor with the coverages. You know, opportunity for guys, the gunners on the outside. You know, he mentioned guys, you know, draft picks like Kyle Lewis, Traore. Those guys have been, you know, learning on special teams. Gibson will fair catch back at his own 17-yard line. Giants take back over. 7:53 to go. Let's drive. Well, Bo, you talked about maintaining the momentum, physicality from the joint practice. Giants have been the better of the teams today.
Well, they have been, and certainly at the joint practice, they got the better of it. I mean, the first teams from the Dolphins held their own, but then when you got to the second teams, you saw what happened, and it just carried over here. But you know, you know that what you saw from the first team offense, first team defense, although the offense struggled a little bit with those edge rushers, like I talked about earlier in the program. The Dolphins need to find some of that, but the intensity, there's no. I've been to number of practices, and you've been there too. I've never seen where people are just lagging around. Everybody's doing something. Everybody's working on something. Guys stay after practice and do what they need to do to be ready to play and try to make this football team. And it says a lot for Jeff Hafley and this coaching staff.
Giants gone deep into the quarterbacks now. Jake Haener is the third QB being used. Jackson Dart didn't play today. Haener was a 4th-round pick in 2023 from the Saints. Giants are his third team. So that's that third quarterback battle between Haener and Allen. Behind, of course, Dart and Jameis Winston, who had a very good game today. Here's a look at Jameis. What a personality he's got. Number 1 overall pick, across the state in Tampa back in 2015. Still has the feet. We saw the legs today. Ran a touchdown in. Coleman Lyles on the tackle against Eric Gray.
Well, if you
got through the hole to get the first.
If you can play quarterback in this league at a certain level, you got a long career ahead of you, right? You come in as a starter, and then when you get bumped out by somebody else, there's always a team looking around for that veteran guy like a Jameis Winston or some of those other guys that are floating around. Look, we saw Marcus Mariota.
Last week.
Yeah, and we saw the Red Rocket.
Andy Dalton.
Last week.
Still plugging along there in Philadelphia.
So look, these guys, you can have long careers and earn a lot of money if you could just get going. So pretty good job when you can get it.
Now Winston now at 32 years old.
Still a youngster.
He is. He can keep on going as the backup quarterback. Why not? 2nd and 9 now for the Giants. 5.5 to go here at Hard Rock Stadium. Haener keeps it. Now flips it out to the tight end. And coming up with a big hit there was Green. The third ruled down was Fidoni as the ball came loose. It'll bring up third. Giants brought over Isaiah Likely, who of course was with John Harbaugh in Baltimore. They've got Theo Johnson, who's had some flashes in his couple of seasons with the Giants as well at tight end. So Fidoni here's today has gotten some balls going his way, trying to prove something. Dolphins defense trying to get off the field, showing some pressure. They bring it, Haener gets rid of it, that's complete, and that's a first down. Cambry made the catch. Johnson Jr. for the Dolphins on the tackle. And they'll move the sticks again.
Giants haven't struggled to move the ball, that's for sure. Can't get the defense in, can't get personnel in.
Yeah, Cam Riley, linebacker, just came on. Here's Bankston. Makes something out of nothing to get a couple of yards. Kyle Lewis, the rookie, who's been popping around, playing a little safety this week, as they expected that when they drafted him out of the University of Pittsburgh. They've got some versatile players. Lewis and linebacker jogging off the field now. He's one of them. Jeff Hafley absolutely loved what he did during the joint practice a couple of days ago. Great athlete. Unfortunately, of the trio of rookie linebackers, Trey Moore left the game back in the first quarter today and went to the locker room. Hope to get good news on him. Harvey and Woodard on the tackle. There's a look at Kyle Lewis, New Jersey native. Just a tremendous athlete. And the ability, they can move him around. He's played nickel in college, in the Sam. And, Jeff Hafley loves that versatility, and that's part of the reason that he's a fit here as a draft pick.
Yeah, when you look at that secondary,